Take a bow. Take a bow, you glorious, glorious internet trolls who somehow managed to alter the course of history, making a widely accepted hand gesture a racist symbol to the point where it was disputed. And people got really angry saying, enough, enough. The OK symbol is not, it's a hoax, okay? It does not mean white power. Please stop. But you persisted. You persisted and refused to back down. And now we have the breaking news. It was the OK hand gesture and, get this, the bowl cut. And my favorite, an anthropomorphic moon man have been added to hate symbols database. Well, there you go. The world is a joke run by clowns. It's a sitcom. You know, sometimes I feel like the world ended in 2016. I remember the day Donald Trump got elected. And I'm sitting in this room, and I just imagine, you know, what probably really happened is that I was sitting there, and a giant meteor just crashed into Earth, is wiping everything out. Because here's the thing, you know, like life's been pretty good. But it seems like we're on repeat with the weird, fake nonsense. Like, this can't be real, right? It seems like it's just not. How can this be real life? We went through decades of this monotonous, same old establishment. Here we are. People have seemed to have completely lost their minds. The bowl cut. That's great. But really, the anthropomorphic moon-wearing sunglasses. Yes. The famous racist symbol of anthropomorphic moons wearing sunglasses. Does that mean, like, okay, so what does that say for the Raisin Bran guy? You know, Raisin Bran cereal, it's got the sun with two big scoops and his big old smile on his face. Or wait, didn't Coca-Cola do a sun with sunglasses? Is that like the anti-fascist symbol? What is wrong with people? Well, I'll tell you this, as somebody who's worked for nonprofits, I'll give you my personal opinion. They need a fight. You know, I've stated before that the goal of a nonprofit should be to put itself out of business. Right? A nonprofit typically, not always, seeks to challenge a problem and solve that problem. Now, regular businesses do this too, but these are problems that have no permanent solution, right? So if you said, you know, when you clip your nails go all over the place. So you invent something that catches them. They do. They have those nail clippers now with like the back. And that's an invention. But here's the thing. You will still need new versions of that product. You're not going to go out of business. A lot of businesses do play the planned obsolescence game, which is disgusting in my opinion, but hey, I get it. Wish it wasn't so. But nonprofits tackle a problem like, I don't know, deforestation. Well, what happens when you pass a law that creates a sustainable, lumber industry and requires them to replant trees and things like that to maintain certain levels of forestation? You'd be done, right? Well, no, a lot of these organizations just find an excuse. Well, the Anti-Defamation League I've been very, very critical of. I don't put them in the same categories like the SPLC, in my opinion, based on the reporting. I think the Southern Poverty Law Center is an overt scam. I think the Anti-Defamation League plays fast and loose and uses dirty tactics and has insane goals. But I know I get a lot of criticism for this. I think they're willing to go after anybody they don't think is in line with their position. That includes the left and the right, unlike the SPLC, which just, is a scam in my opinion. But I'm no fan of the ADL. I just think, whatever, I made my case. But anyway, the ADL has added the OK hand gesture, the bowl-style haircut. Does that mean, you ever see Dexter's Laboratory? What was the bad guy that Dexter hated? He had the black bowl haircut. Is he now like a white symbol of Nazism? And you're gonna have to explain this one to me. I have no idea what the hell the anthropomorphic moon-wearing sunglasses has to do with hate. They're among 36 new entries in the ADL's online database of hate symbols used by white supremacists and other far-right extremists. They say the ADL added the symbols to its online hate on display database, which already includes burning crosses and Klan robes, and we get it. They say they launched the database in 2000 to help law enforcement officers, school officials, and others recognize signs of extremist activity. Oh man, that's it. You've seen it. If you go to school with a bowl haircut, reported. That's a red flag. We're gonna take your guns. Even as extremists continue to use symbols that may be years or decades old, they regularly create new symbols, memes, and slogans to express their hateful sentiments. Some of the new entries started as trolling campaigns or hateful memes on 4chan, 8chan, and Reddit before migrating to Facebook, Twitter, yada, yada. The ADL has updated its database to include the OK hand symbol. You've lost the plot. Every scuba diver, anywhere, at any time, who has to use that symbol, you are officially displaying hate. This is so dumb. They mentioned that the OK symbol was a hoax, but the ADL says extremists also are using it as a sincere expression of white supremacy. That is not true. That is not true. There's 2 tiers to the troll. The first troll was that, actually there's 3, so let me explain. The first troll was that Donald Trump makes that hand gesture when he talks. He still does. So Trump supporters started doing it to symbolize their support for Trump to trigger the libs. 4chan, level 2, made the hoax into white supremacy. And the ultimate troll, level 3, is when white supremacists started flashing the sign. But here's the thing. It doesn't mean white power. It's meant to cause chaos. They're not flashing the sign to say white power. That is not the intent. No one. Okay, 99.9% of people, I don't want to be absolutist, but when you see these crazy white supremacists flashing the symbol, it's not to say white power. It's to trigger the media and push the next level of the hoax, which they have caught hook, line, and sinker. The ADL says they're using it as a sincere expression of white supremacy. No, they fundamentally don't understand the point. The point is this. They want to sow discord, disruption, and chaos. So now scuba divers have to use a different symbol? They're going to make up, I'll give you a symbol. Scuba divers, use this one. I'm going to get in trouble for that, I think. I don't know. Can I get in trouble for that? For those that are listening to the podcast, I just flipped off the camera. But I don't know. YouTube might get mad at me for doing that. I'm going to skip over some of the nonsense. They say at this point, there's enough of a volume of use for hateful purposes that we felt it was important to add. No. You see what they do here? U.S. Coast Guard appears to flash white power hand signal. No! It is you know what? It means nothing. I kid you not. It means nothing. It means nothing and everything at the same time. I can't believe we live in this world. Oh, look at this. An earlier addition to the database was Pepe the Frog, a cartoon character that became hijacked by online extremists. And what was the celebrities? Like Katy Perry used it. Yep. Famous white supremacist Katy Perry used it, right? And Hong Kong protesters use it. Now, the Happy Merchant, I totally get. The Happy Merchant, one of the new database entries. I'm surprised that's new. The Happy Merchant has been an anti-Semitic trope for a long time. Here you go. Another addition. The Moon Man meme is derived from Mac Tonight, a character in a McDonald's advertising campaign during the 1980s. Internet trolls transformed the sunglasses-wearing cartoon moon into a vehicle for rap songs with racist and violent lyrics. You know what's insane to me? There's so few white supremacists in the world, and they make a ton of jokes on the internet, and everyone is bending over backwards to give them command of symbols. Why? I don't understand. The ADL also added the Dylan Roof bowl cut, an image of the hairstyle worn by the white supremacist. We know who he is. They say the bowl-style hair became an avatar for extremists, including a DC man whose relatives contacted the FBI to report concerns about his behavior. Oh, just, you know what, man? The bowl cut. Okay. Logos of white nationalist groups include the Rise Above movement, AIM. The recently formed American Identity Movement is a successor to the now dissolved Identity Europa, which frequently plastered its white nationalist propaganda on college campuses, yada, yada, yada. 4 members of the group, I don't care. You know what, man? I'm truly, truly impressed that we've come to this point. But let me just stress, the media wants to eat all this stuff up. The media wants these stories, but why should we care what the Anti-Defamation League thinks? It's been so mind-blowing to me that the media is willing to bend over for all of these various, bend over backwards, or, the other way, for all of these different organizations when they make these claims. What's to stop anyone else from making an organization that functions identically to these, but doesn't? Like, what's to stop someone from actually starting a nonprofit to challenge racism, and then doesn't play this game and calls out the other side when they do the same thing? Now, that's the point I was making about the ADL earlier that I don't want to get super into because that's not the point. But they've called out Ilhan Omar, and okay, great, I respect that. The SPLC, on the other hand, is like just been called a scam for decades. So while I'm no fan of the ADL, I think this is insane, they've called out Ilhan Omar and people on the left. Not as much, but they do. They have really weird definitions of what left and right means. Like, if you're a racial supremacist, if you're a white supremacist, you're right wing. But if you're a non-white racial supremacist, you're left wing. I don't understand how that makes sense, and I know they're I don't know. I'll end by saying this. I'll keep this one short. Congratulations, internet trolls. I'm not talking about the white supremacists. I'm talking about the people who are bored, sitting in their rooms, and decided to create a troll campaign to manipulate our society. And this may be the most powerful troll I've ever seen. Actually, you know what? Let me tell you a story. There was this thing on 4chan a long time ago. What was this? 9 years ago? Called Operation King Cone. That I saw happening on 4chan. Was basically, there was a street cone in New York City someone had seen on something called EarthCan. And so they went on 4chan and said, we must use our collective internet powers to knock the street cone over, to influence the real world. The joke was kind of like, can all of these people on 4chan actually make something happen in the real world? And eventually, somebody walked by, like some kids, knocked it over. And it was a joke. The campaign was to influence the real world. No one, who cares if a cone gets knocked over? But I think about it as kind of a distributed intelligence. There was a willpower emerging among this swarm of people on 4chan, to which Stephen Colbert once called a hornet's nest in a famous segment. So this swarm was trying to develop its willpower, knock the street cone over. Eventually they did. Took a long time, and someone came and knocked it over. It was a joke, and the people who apparently went to knock it over heard about, the meme or whatever, and went and did it. And it was a harmless, silly joke where on this webcam, you could watch the cone get knocked over. Flash forward, 8 years or so, well, 7 years later, 6 or 7 years later, and that consciousness has now effectively created a series of symbols that Hillary Clinton herself has called out. It is gone in only a few years. This collective conscious, this willpower, whatever 4chan is and wants to do, changes. From struggling to knock over a street cone to getting a top contender, Hillary Clinton, to push the idea they wanted her to push. Congratulations. The Pepe thing. That's how insane it's gotten. And now here we are in 2019, officially, the okay hand gesture. It was done. Thy will be done, 4chan. They've done it. I wonder what the next thing they'll try and make. I mean, they memed the president into office, apparently. I'm going to stop now. But congratulations, trolls. Their power is growing. And this is probably, maybe the war we're seeing now is kind of like the establishment centralized authoritarian hive of the internet versus the decentralized, more, anti-establishment hive. Like these two hive minds competing. That's what the culture war is. I don't know. Whatever. I'm done. Stick around. Next segment will be coming up at 4 p.m. YouTube.com/Timcast. We're going to be talking about the Ukraine scandal and how it's just fake news. I've got a bunch of fake. It's all fake news. All the corrections, all the lies. Man, I am. What a world. It's absolutely insane. For those in the podcast, the order's inverted. So anyway, stick around. I'll see you on the next segment.